Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and the continuing on of the mini section here on the other tail shore domains, so basically the non-political ones. So the guild section here is pretty massive. Again, in our previous video we took a look at the Stewardvik traders. We'll get to the White Witch next because she's just ever present again pretty much throughout all the Uric realms as a very nasty threat. And then today we're taking a look specifically though at the Three Trees traders. So this one is an actual domain that you could run. So it is recommended. It's considered neutral good. We'll call it the triple T, Three Trees Traders. So the Three Trees House is one of a handful of trading guilds in the wild Northern Highlands, an alliance of a dozen or so wealthy urban Uric. So again, keep that in mind, right? So we're going to have that urban versus the traditional lifestyle. Contrast with the Uric, right? The more tribal ones, the more ones that migrate and aren't city folk, basically. But anyway, the Three Trees manages much trade along the tail shore. The house's presence actually helps maintain some semblance of order in the more chaotic Uric domains, and many foreign traders have begun to take notice and turn their attention northward, right? So that's a key inroad that you have there. So anytime you can open the doors to trade with, let's say, Brecht realms, but also Anawiran realms, right? You're considered the safe bet, right? And that's going to, again, open doors and possibilities if you play it right. So they don't have an excessive amount of holdings, but again, it's not a huge area that we're covering either. But there's definitely room for expansion. So you got 2 holdings in Stewardvik and 3 in Svinnik, right? And they're all pretty minimal, right? So again, room for growth. So if you're looking for like a starter domain, but also one where like the story isn't really fully written yet, right? You can basically build this from the ground up. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 level 1 holdings and a single level 2. Now, if you look at the province rating, right, you can kind of see why some of those are lower level. But as you can see, Bjarnheim certainly has potential, and Levica, right, where you've got basically half the trade there. But everywhere else, you either dominate it with the level 1 provinces, but Namverg, you could definitely, you got half the trade there, but you could definitely build that up, and then the other 2 higher realms too, right? So that being said, your start is going to start slow. You don't have that much regency, right? So 6 generated versus 10 accumulated. So you're going to have to be pretty careful with your actions, your domain actions, and just hoping for baby steps, basically, to start building a little bit of momentum and gathering resources before you go for more aggressive moves. You've accumulated a treasury of 6 gold, so again, pretty bare bones, but you don't have any huge upkeep at the time either. So, and you do generate basically 6 per turn, so it's basically just keeping the costs low, getting some slow, steady growth here, maybe a couple years of just focusing on leveling up, but maybe also developing a couple of new holdings and maybe broaching some trade routes and stuff. So they select a leader every 5 years. The current leader and leader for the last 2 decades is Jan Hrulstad, and a level 4 fighter, lawful neutral, not blooded, but a candy merchant from Skapa Hjaring, who has largely turned his back on the most primitive Uric traditions and seeks to bring his people into the modern world through trade and diplomacy. So you have that there. So if you wanted to take on his character, that's kind of just the rough lay of the land for him. Certainly DM can work with the players here to sort of flesh out the organization and maybe any other issues, but they're basically leaving that up to player. But if there was like any internal conflict, they'd certainly go into greater detail on it. But then the quick description here. So compared to other continent spanning trading organizations, it's a small and unsophisticated operation for now. But in Uric lands, they're actually the largest guild in operations. And that tells you something with a mere 5 holdings that are all low level. In contrast, again, we'll just go back to the Stewardvik traders, right? Also room for expansion there, and you can kind of see, right? Though the Three Trees oversight and the management skills, through that and the skills of Jan, Uric goods are now beginning to appear throughout western Anawiran lands and as far east as Brechtur and Bosgard. So again, there's the story is being written slowly, but again, you're kind of there at the ground level to help really write it and maybe flesh this out into a major operation. Maybe there's other aspirations that come along down the road, like maybe ruling a province or breaking away. Who knows? But there's plenty of opportunity here for really robust trade. And again, it's just going to be a matter of navigating that traditional versus the sort of desire to be more modern and sophisticated and quote unquote civilized with the Rurik that will play out a little bit nicer overall here than what you'd see with the Voss, but there's still definitely some tensions there. But there's plenty of trade avenues open, but sometimes the other political realities and maybe even religious realities of the Rurik will impede on that progress, and that's going to be a fun set of challenges for anyone taking on this domain. You got other guilds as well, right? The Stewardvik traders, but then also the more nefarious and evil, like existential threats for the Rurik with via the White Witch and other monsters, etc. Right, the usual things, but a fun little domain to test out as well and really see what you can do with it. Let us know, guys, if you've picked this one in any campaigns or if that seems enticing and how you'd go about it. Hit us up in the comments, like and subscribe if you want to see more Birthright content like this early. Hit us up on our Patreon. All the support helps here as we're also tracking down all the remaining minis that are out there that were produced for it, among some other things. But in general, we definitely love all the support. And we'll have other unique content that we're developing still, too. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.